Recording? Is it recording? Ah, good. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Higher Standards here at Grey Ogre Games. My name is Mick. I'm your host for tonight, and we're watching the match between Kevin Tan and Jeffrey Chan. If you're new to all of this, we stream every Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Tuesday nights we do Standard. Wednesdays we do Modern or Frontier. It's 3 rounds of real people playing real cards of Magic. Anyway, it looks like Kevin here is playing a Naya deck, maybe energy, and Jeffrey here, I believe, should be playing his straight up blue red control deck, and starting off with triple Spire Bluff. That's the way you want to go with a blue red deck, keeping up. Probably right now he's got Permission Magic, or he's got Dynavolt Tower in hand, but I don't think he wants to go. Oh, he does. So he casts the Dynavolt Tower and passes the turn. Let's see if Kevin has any reply to that. He doesn't. Kevin, of course, could just slam down a Nahiri here if he does have it, but I don't think he does. So let's take a look. The play is a land which he just drew off. Very indicative that it is a land, and yeah, Kevin here very deliberate with his actions, although he does need to push it out. Okay, so uses that one energy for a Fevered Visions here, catching Jeffrey a little off guard. So it's a alright, intrigued. So a green, red, white, blue, 4 color Fevered Visions deck. So can Jeffrey raise that? That's the thing. So he was probably just going to try to empty his hand, shock, and just dispense all the cards that he has in hand that are all spells as well. So Kevin here just drew a Quarantine Field, which he could actually use, but he's going to okay, so Jeffrey here goes to Glimmer of Genius to draw him extra 2 cards. So depending on whether he can race or not, and looks like that's a Torrential Gearhulk in hand, which one to the top, one to the bottom. I think right now he wants lands to be able to, or not lands, but not too many lands, so that he can play all his stuff. And he needs to dispense justice or dispense counters or spells as fast as he can. Here, 5 cards in hand. Sorry, 5 lands. Looks like Jeffrey's just going to go shock before the end step. He is going to take additional damage off of that, and discarding his Torrential Gearhulk, which I guess is okay, and needs to discard another card, so he discards the Wandering Fumarole and passes the turn. So if I am not wrong, what Jeffrey will do at the end step will probably be casting that the Shock and then the Glimmer of Genius to restock his hand. No fear of the Fevered Visions just yet, but Kevin here stuck on 5 lands. This is drawing additional cards of Fevered Visions. And he's just going to pass the turn. Unfortunately, does not draw another land, but he passes the turn and just draws the card off of that. Jeffrey here going to get a ton of energy, and I think he's just going to start dispensing the energy from the Dynavolt Tower. Jeffrey actually needs to draw a card first before... Yeah, Jeffrey needs to draw his cards first. Okay, so Blessed Alliance here. Alright, and Shock goes up to... Shock brings Jeffrey up to 10. And now brings him down to 5 energy using the Dynavolt Tower. So I think he's just going to fire off Dynavolt Towers from here on in. Does get his 6 mana, which means that his Torrential Gearhulks are now online. I have to wonder, are we actually online? Because the the what you call it? What you call it? The dashboard is a little crazy. So if you guys are in the chat, do let me know that we're online or not, because I can't really see. So yeah. Anyway, right. Time to dispense with time to utilize some of our useful upgrades to the stream. And here you see the aforementioned card Dynavolt Tower. Every time you cast an instant or sorcery, you get 2 energy, and then you can pay 5 energy, and it deals 3 damage to target creature or player. And looks like Kevin has his own Dynavolt Tower, and he goes for it. Unfortunately, it does get countered. It does have a negate. Kevin here hoping that he would get additional. Oh, okay, additional value off of the attune with Aether, so that you can get 4 energy off of the Dynavolt Tower. And Jeffrey here just going to fire off a whole flurry of spells so that he can gain as much energy as he can, countering both the attune with Aether, seeing that his opponent is stuck on lands, and does negate, of course, the Dynavolt Tower. And here a whole bunch of cards that restock his hand. So let's see what Jeffrey does. And the other card on the other side of the table, if you were wondering why they're drawing so many cards, is because of this enchantment, which is a very powerful enchantment called Fevered Visions. At the beginning of each player's end step, that player draws a card. If that player is your opponent and has 4 more cards in hand, Fevered Visions deals 2 damage to him or her. And this card was massively utilized back in not back in the day lah, but I mean like in the previous standard. And here Jeffrey just draining all his energy, putting his opponent down to 8, and a shock and a few energy giving spells will will be the end of Kevin. So let's see if I think Jeffrey has it. So he's gonna go shock. They're gonna fire off too, yeah. So they're gonna take another 6 points of damage, goes down to 8 there. And Kevin here, keen to cast a spell before his discard phase. So right now, not drawing his 4th land, which is kind of harsh. Needs to start dropping cards. So instead, he will try to Appetite for the Unnatural, but Jeffrey here responds with, oh man, another Revolutionary Rebuff, and that brings him up to 4 energy. In response, of course, to the Dynavolt Tower triggers. Sorry, activated ability is not trigger. The trigger is, of course, the gaining of 2 energy. I think Jeffrey has this in the bag because all he has to do is just cast the Glimmer of Genius. So he does get 1 energy off of that. Cast the Glimmer of Genius, gets 6 energy, and then fire at his opponent. Well, he needs a shock. That'll be great. And passes the turn, draws an extra card, and draws a Disallow, which is fantastic. But yeah, Glimmer of Genius here would get Jeffrey 2 activations of the tower. And I'm not quite sure what else he has in hand. Maniacal laughter here by in the shop by our friend here, Solomon Poe, who is playing the Secret Salvage deck, or otherwise known as the Hedron Alignment deck. And it looks like he was quite successful with his attempt. Okay, before the drawing of a card, here Jeffrey goes and fires off a Glimmer of Genius. Does he have it? Does he have a spell that he can cast this turn? Probably not going to cast it right now, but he does have Incendiary Incendiary Flow. Both go at Kevin, who doesn't really have much of a response. And yeah, Kevin here needs to discard down to hand size, and this is the fear. If he does try to cast anything, Jeffrey does have counter spells to negate that. Well, not really negate, just like to counter that. So yeah, Kevin here, a very harsh set of draws. He doesn't draw any of his lands and does get some of his spells countered, especially the Attune with Aether. But methinks 5 mana. What do you do with 5 mana? How do you even if you got to 5 mana, what are you casting? So yeah, maybe it's a transformational sideboard. Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, Jeffrey here going to sideboard. Both players going to sideboard, and while they are at that, just want to let you know that you can join us on the stream every Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday nights we have standard. Wednesday nights we have modern. It's me and Alfian doing the stream. I'm not quite sure whether Alfian is in town right now, so maybe the Wednesday stream. Who knows? I don't know. I probably will come back and do modern, because modern is fun. Well, at least a lot more fun than standard is right now. I'm wondering, is the audio a bit soft, because I see the levels aren't as high, and also because there's the store's a little quiet. There's a lot of people in here, but everybody's being quiet, so I've also got to be very, very quiet. Yeah. Anyway, let's go back to the normal view. Kevin here, amazing. I love the idea that he's using a Tupperware box as his deck box. Not a lot of players can boast that their deck box can also store lunch and or luncheon. So yeah, interesting take on the deck. 4 color Dynavolt Tower with Fevered Visions. But I just wonder what the other colors are for. They're great removal, I guess, but red also has pretty good removal in the form of just fire, just burn spells. And Lightning Axe is something that people haven't been seeing and people haven't been paying attention to lately. Lightning Axe does combo well with some Madness spells. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of Madness spells in the format that are being used right now. Fiery Temper has seen its has seen better days, I guess. Also happy that they printed out Fiery Temper though. Alright, they're going to game 2. I think Jeffrey would just sideboard in a bit more negates. And if Kevin actually does have a transformational sideboard, like a Saheeli copycat sideboard, that'll be fantastic. And I think he can catch his opponent Jeffrey off guard. But of course, going first doesn't mean that you don't keep a hand without negate. As in on Jeffrey's side. On Kevin's side, I think you just want to be a bit more aggressive. You want to make sure that you make your land drops. And I think that was what happened the last game, that you're stuck at 4. You're stuck at 4 mana, but with that many cards in hand, I just have to wonder what what was the composition of his hand, because I couldn't really see from here. But I'm guessing it's a lot of reactive stuff. So maybe as Kevin, you want to take out a lot some of the reactive stuff and be more proactive, and then get your threats versus Jeffrey's threats. Of course, your threats have to stick onto the board, which is what the first few turns are for. That's what the counter spells and the all the other stuff are for. All right, man. The chat is very, very quiet, unfortunately. Fortunately or fortunately. But yeah, it's been a long day at work. People doing stuff. If you are in the chat out there somewhere, let me know what you think of the Modern Masters reprints. Restoration Angel, Gifts Ungiven, Blood Moon, Damnation, Snapcaster Mage, Liliana. It sounds amazing. And if you think it is and you do agree with us, do listen to the Power 9 podcast. Next week, this weekend, we'll be talking about our Modern Masters. I guess we're going to draft a lot, so we'll be talking about Modern Masters a lot this weekend. Yeah, I want to open up my sets of Abrupt Decay, as well as you know, I don't know. I guess Voice of Resurgence would be nice, but I would love a foil of the new Snapcaster. I think the art is okay, I guess. But yeah, I imagine a foil of that would be fantastic. Yeah, I've got all my I got the foil Damnations already. A foil Gifts would be nice, or just a Gifts Ungiven for EDH. Who knows? Anyway, let's get back to the game. Looks like Kevin here still shuffling up. Yeah, no, just a reminder. I saw a very interesting demonstration of pile shuffling and pile shuffling in exactly the best way to shuffle your deck if you know, because there was, oh man, what was that demonstration? But basically the guy used like red and white sleeves to demonstrate where the cards would be when you pile shuffle and after you pile shuffle. And you know, after a few iterations of pile shuffles, you can see that you can actually stack the deck. Or you know, the deck comes out in very even order, when actually what you should be doing is that the deck comes out in a random order, and random actually means clumping. So Kevin here going to decide to mulligan, and Jeffrey here looks like he's going to keep his hand. So yeah, another round of shuffling. While the players are shuffling, or at least while Kevin is shuffling up, just want to remind you, you can join us on the stream. And if you miss the stream, it's okay. I'm not angry, just slightly disappointed. Maybe not slightly, just disappointed. Let's just say. But if you miss the stream too much, then I'll be very disappointed. But if you do miss the stream, do go on down to youtube.com/GreyOgreGames to watch all the replays. We do capture all the streams that we do, and we do upload it right after the tournament, so you can you can bet your watch. Maybe don't bet your watch depending on what watch you wear, but you can definitely bet on it that the content's going to be there every I don't know, Tuesday maybe by the time you get home 11 something p.m. Singapore time. It should be uploaded. Kevin here gonna go for a tune with either Get 2 Energy, get an extra land, and hopefully be able to cast stuff off of it. Does he go for a mountain? Yes, he does. And this is probably indicative of a Fever Visions next turn. Is Kevin just gonna slam it? Does he keep up protection? But even if he keeps up protection, Jeffrey might be able to just sneak through it. So let's see. So one thing that I want to mention about Jeffrey's deck is that you notice that his full art islands are John Avon. Actually, no, they are all John Avon lands, but they are full art unhinged lands. Just saying. Rogue Refiner here hits the battlefield. Not what I was expecting, but yeah, it's pretty good. Rogue Refiner's pretty good. 3/2. You know, this is what we mean by being proactive. You have threats, and you try to keep the threats and make sure that they stay on the table. It's gonna swing in for 3 points of damage. This is the way to go against Jeffrey's deck. You want to be proactive. You want to make sure that you slam creatures and Instead, looks like Kevin's going to try to resolve a a Glimmer of Genius, but decides not to. So it's a good clue from Jeffrey that Kevin actually does have a Glimmer of Genius in hand, and nothing stopping Jeffrey. So if I were Kevin last turn, I would have cast a Glimmer of Genius. You got to try to force it through, because what Jeffrey is trying to do is that turn he's gonna try to cast a Glimmer of Genius, and now you've just wasted one turn casting a Glimmer of Genius. So on top of that, you just try to use your mana effectively, and while Jeffrey is tapped out, he does seem that he does value the Glimmer of Genius very highly. So maybe you shouldn't. There is depending on what your hand is like. So if your hand's full of, if your hand's a hot mess, then maybe you definitely want to resolve the Glimmer of Genius. But if your hand's okay, I think it's fine to try to force through the Glimmer of Genius. That will prevent Jeffrey from trying to resolve a Glimmer of Genius by at the end of his turn. So and maybe don't do it in response, because as Jeffrey, he gets to see what you do, and maybe react to it. And there is, body language in Magic the Gathering is very important, because, sometimes when you draw a card, you have that smirk. You don't notice it, but you do. And I'm talking about you who are watching. And sometimes he gives it away. Like, you look at it, and in this case, it's Scries, which, you scry at the top, you scry at the bottom. If you missed your last land drop, scrying to the top just means that that's an extra land, or likely a land or a spell that is within that casting, your casting ability. So here, Jeffrey resolving a Dragon Master Outcast. Let's take a look at the card. Dragon Master Outcast, 1 mana for 1/1. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 6 or more lands, put a 5/5 red dragon token onto with flying onto the battlefield. Those are big dragons. But of course, it has to survive, and B, you have to have 6 lands. And right now, Jeffrey only has 5 lands. Kevin also has 5 lands. Does he make his next land drop? And he does. 6 lands. Does he have a combo? So, maybe he has a Saheeli combo. So, let's see. Maybe cast Saheeli right now. Oh yeah. Saheeli, right? Nope, Fever Visions. Trying to resolve a Fever Visions with 3 mana backup. So maybe there's a negate somewhere here. So Kevin here considering, nope, you definitely want to resolve this Fever Visions. And you should negate that. Yep, negates the disallow. Does get a card out of Jeffrey's hand, and is going to start dealing consistent damage to Jeffrey if he doesn't do anything. So 6 mana now on the battlefield. Maybe an anticipate to try find an answer, because he's going to go down to 9, and then a swing from the he just decides to draw a card. A swing from the Rogue Refiner is going to reduce his life total to 6, unless of course he does something about it, which probably he will, just using an anticipate to try to find an answer. So let's see. Again, Fever Vision's a very powerful card, hard to deal with. And on Kevin's side of the board, he actually does have a Lumbering Falls. Unfortunately, he doesn't have enough mana to activate the Lumbering Falls. And Lumbering Falls is going to be a very good card against Jeffrey here. Because it's got, let's see, 5-star rating, 0 votes. Enters battlefield tab, but you can transform it into a creature, what we call a manland. It's a 3/3 green and blue elemental with hexproof. And if you did not know, hexproof is a pretty damn good ability. So Jeffrey here able to cast the what do you call it, the Torrential Gearhulk, and blocks the Rogue Refiner, knowing that he's going to be taking a lot more damage next turn. So the clock has substantially reduced. There's going to be, it's a 5-turn clock just based off of the Fevered Visions here. And now going to be unable to swing in with his Lumbering Falls. So Attune with Aether is the play. Gets the extra land. But needs to find that Dynavolt Tower so that he can start dispensing energy. He needs to find that he is at 19 life, which means that he is quite healthy right now. Or maybe get rid of that Dragon Master Outcast, because that thing is going to hurt. Next turn Jeffrey is probably swinging in for 6. And then the following turn will be 11, which means that it's 17, and all he needs is a shock. So let's hope that Kevin draws the good stuff. Gets another Forest, which I think he needs to be able to activate the Lumbering Falls. But unfortunately, right now the Lumbering Falls becomes tapped. He did have the energy, so he could have just used the Aether Hub. Does have another. Maybe he has another Fevered Vision. So second Fevered Visions resolves. Going to be able to draw 2 cards. Jeffrey here going to take 4 points of damage. So this increases the clock, but not by much. Does put Jeffrey up to 4, 5. Oh man, that's lots of lands. Lots and lots of lands. Of course, he does have some creatures in hand. Hits his opponent down to 13. Literally all he needs is a shock. I don't think he can just throw down his entire hand right now. Alright, so Fevered Visions 1, Fevered Visions 2. I don't think, there's no way that he's going to be able to discard cards that easily. Goes down to 5. So if Kevin here... Oh man, he needs to be able to get in some points of damage. And I don't think that's going to be happening. Of course, Kevin here can block, which means that Jeffrey will be down to quite a low life total, actually. You can block the Torrential Gear. Okay, so with the Lumbering Falls, you can block the Torrential Gearhulk, but and that would, prevent him from going down to 2. You take 5, 6, 7. And if the Wandering Fumarole hits in, that's 11 points of damage. Still not enough to kill Kevin. So plays the Forest that he got last turn. Is there a Fumigate? Do I hear Fumigate? Hell yeah! No. You're also got to be worried that, of course, Jeffrey here has counter spells. Let's get rid of that card. Yeah, I forgot to put the scores. I remember to put the scores next round. Jeffrey there signaling Kevin, you need to make a move, and yeah, I am about to go out there and say you need to make a move, because players get stuck in this thing, what we call the loop. The loop is problematic because you go through all the options, and then you go through all the options, and then you go through all the options again, and you go through all the options again. So you want to do this, but then this, and then this. No, you got to decide, take a line. And this time, Kevin decides, I will just draw 2 cards. Jeffrey here trying to resolve and anticipate, maybe looking for, some extra damages. Another anticipate, trying to get even more damages. Damage, as we say. Doesn't find it. Does he have another? I think doesn't. Kevin here just going to draw extra cards and going to discard a card. So yeah, I'm curious. What does Kevin have in hand? He's drawn so many cards. You know. And here, oh wow! I just realized, yeah, the Lumbering Falls doesn't really matter. It really doesn't. All Kevin needs is maybe a Saheeli Rai, man. Alright, goes in with the team. Kevin, well, he can block, or he can, I don't know, play a Blessed Alliance maybe? Blessed Alliance also gets countered. If he tries to go to activate the Lumbering Falls, it might get disallowed. So that's even worse. That's just as bad. But Kevin doesn't die. He goes down to 5, 5, 1, 2. He goes down to 1. And Jeffrey just needs to be able to punch in like 1 point of damage, and that's asking a lot at this point. Saheeli Rai maybe. Alright, I need to give a slow play warning. Why is this room so hot? Is the aircon remote? Why is it set at 20? No wonder you're so cold. I know. No, but it's set at 20. No wonder you're so cold.
You can't adjust it.
Yeah, can. 24. 24 lah, change the temperature. You raise the temperature, it becomes hotter. Kevin here goes down to 2. Can he somehow just kill Jeffrey? Declaration in Stone, the dragon. So maybe Kevin here. Oh. No, I think Jeffrey's just gonna keep it up, keep all the mana up, because next turn he knows that he can swing in, and that will spell victory for him. And that's it. Yeah, it does spell victory for him. Yeah, I'm just curious as to what Kevin had in hand. If it was very reactive, like just keeping. He just had a lot of cards in hand. He drew a lot of cards. Double Fever Visions is no joke. But I just have to wonder what he did have in hand, or what he did have in the deck, and he's just waiting for that shock. Which of course Jeffrey does have counter spells for it, and he's gonna fight over. Well, Kevin's probably gonna fight over the resolution of the shock. Unfortunately, does not find what he was looking for, a Dynamo Tower or a shock or a third Fever Visions the last turn. So anyway, we are going for a break, and I'll put you on the replay. But before we go, just want to remind you that you can catch us on the stream every Tuesday and Wednesday, 8 p.m. Singapore time, either streaming Standard or Modern or Frontier, and sometimes on the weekends we also have tournaments. So make sure you follow our Facebook page, make sure you follow our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Grey Ogre Games, to keep yourself up to date with when we do our stream. No, Jeffrey wasn't playing Temur Tower. Jeffrey was playing, what was that? Just Blue-Red Control, Blue-Red Tower, sort of. If you missed the streams, it's okay. Just go down to youtube.com/GreyOgreGames to watch the replays of all the streams that we do. Last but not least, do listen to the Power 9 podcast. They're the partners who keep this show running. And this week we talk about the GP, the changes in the GP. And while we can't do anything, we can still talk about it. So yeah, tune in, power9podcast.com. All right. I'm going to put you on the replay, so don't go away. We'll be back with round 2. See you guys.